Hi guys, this is a soap cutter that I made for my wife. She makes soaps. So at first I was cutting the soap for her with a knife, and it was very difficult. So I made this soap cutter for her. This here, you can't see it on the camera. So how it works is like this. On this side it has hinges. So firstly it's a plate, it's a base that is there like that, and then on top of that base I made these arches, one here and one on the other side. On the bottom is this, so this and this hold this together. This is holding the guitar strings that are there on the other side. So you get one guitar string that comes out of there, that little knob thing there, and it goes through there, goes around that screw, comes back to the guitar tuner. So you just turn this and that tightens and loosens the strings. That there is just a piece of 2x4 that I cut with a drop saw. I set the depth and then I just cut it, moved it 1 inch apart. So it gives that little channel for the string to go down without rubbing on the sides. So that's how wide between, and the screws are also set at the same distance as I marked here. So when you put the big loaf, what they call loaf of soap here, that you make in the big mold, and then you lift this up. Yep. So you put the big loaf in here, like a loaf of bread. Big bar of soap here, big loaf. And then you drop this, and I'll show you in a minute because we've got one to cut. You drop it and it just goes right through it, and then it cuts a soap. This is just pine. This at the back here, this, and this. All the dark bits, there are hardwood in Australia called merbu or merbo, something, I don't know. It's some French sounding name, but it's a hardwood from Australia here. It's very, very hard stuff. It's used for decking, which is what this is. Repurposed decking. It's got the ridges. You use this for an outdoor decking. It's really good wood. It's very hard. It's very beautiful wood, as you can see. And this is decking wood. Look how nice it is. And all I did is I varnished it with just clear acrylic varnish. And it's got a bit of weight. This is about 2 inches thick. That's probably about 2 3/4 inches. You know, that's about, I don't know, 1 3/4 inches for you Americans. So you can pretty much figure it out. That's a 2x4. And that is, I don't know, maybe 11 inches across. While here, probably that's about a foot there. Just to give you an idea, so it's maybe, a foot and a bit more than a foot and a half, a foot and 8 inches or something like that. Because I know that some of you guys are going to want to know the specs. Just normal, cheap hinges. You put this, once you got this frame done up and everything, you put it where you want it, and then you put the hinges. That's the last thing you do, put the hinges. I put that nice and square with the board. Everything is nice and square and everything. Sorry. That went in. That is attached to this first, and then they both go in. They're glued and screwed. I think I put screws from underneath. Yeah, I did. So I screwed it from underneath. Right, so that's what this is, and that's how you. Come on, man, and that's how you use you make the soap cutter. Now I'll show you how it works. It's really cool. If you want more specs, I'll be happy to measure it all up, and I'll give you all the specs in inches. And for the Aussies watching that might be interested, you can figure it out from inches. We can do both. Americans kind of not so much, but we can do both. I'm happy to give you inches, guys. if you're interested. So I'll show you in a minute how it all works. Okay, here's the exhibition or the show on how you do it. Was it like that or the other way?
This one, I think.
You sure?
Yeah, because then it doesn't.
You got to center it between there. So
So it's here. Perfect.
yes.
There you go.
Otherwise, so when you're cutting this, if you put that kind of halfway here, then you're gonna get a really thin slice. You can't sell it. You can't do anything with. Whereas here, this particular from the mold, grab that mold. The mold that she's using, it's just a silicone mold, right? It's a soft mold. So from that size of that mold, just by chance, it fits inside. So there's not going to be a thin slice here and a thin slice there. Some other molds that she has, they do go that way. So you have to cut. You end up with these little thin slices that you can use as samples, give away to people, whatever. But anyway, so that goes in there like that. And now we'll show you how it works, how simple it is. I hope the wires are still tensioned. You have to put a fairly significant amount of pressure. Dong. So now you've got to push, so it does the last little bit of cutting through the bottom.
Smells good.
Yeah? No, you leave it, and now you just take it away. You start taking the slices out.
Oh.
So now there's your bar of soap. Show the top. How cool is that?
That's brilliant.
How cool is that? Have a look at this. Let me see if I can get in here. I'm stretching. And it's all cut. And that's how quick it is. You can see this where the nails used to be here for this decking. Have a look at this. How cool is that? So, let me tell you guys, in America, a soap cutter like this, they go for about over $200. And there is a couple of 1 or 2 people in America that are making these out of metal, and they're selling them for like over $300. For me, all I paid for was the guitar tuners, which were, I think, maybe $20. Maybe, and for the strings, which is a number 2. You got to get the metal strings, which is for electric guitars. I don't know, it's a G string, I think. I don't know what it's called. You guitarists out there, you'd know better, but it's a second string up from the bottom. So it's not the thinnest string on the guitar, it's the second one up. I think it's a G, I can't remember. I could be a bit, I don't know. I'm not a musician. But anyway, that's what that is. And I bought this a few years ago. When did I make this? About 4 or 5 years ago. So as a non-musician, I can't remember what string it was, but it was the second string up on the guitar, from the thinnest one going up towards the thicker one is the thinnest one. So that's what that is. The reason that I put 2 of those, that one and that one there, and glued and screwed them independently to this, is because there's so much tension in these things that this board starts to bow and buckle, and it goes pretty crappy. So by having this there, that there, and on the other side, it holds that board perfectly in place where it should be. And it works a treat. And that one there on the bottom that's got the strings, there's a heap of pressure on that one too. So that is also glued and screwed to the bottom and to the backboard, which sorry, they're all attached, right? Everything is attached. Everything here, all this frame, everything is attached to itself, and it's on hinges. And that one at the bottom, the 2x4 with this, that's attached to the board, to the baseboard. So you can see how it all works. I don't know if you can see, there's a hole there. There, that's a hole with a screw, but that's been glued. I glued that to that, screwed it, then I cut the whole lot with a drop saw. I set the depth and I cut it with a drop saw, And then I glued that to the base, but I made sure that it was very square and parallel with the base. This base has got perfect 90-degree cuts on it, so everything is well measured, and the distance here is about 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, and at the back it's got probably about an inch, and I left it a little bit longer there for the hinges. But that's the way I put it together. Glue, screws, so you see how I put the whole thing together. It's not very hard at all. I just saw a few different of these on YouTube, people using different ones. Some were made out of pallet wood and they were crappy and they reckon they make them every 6 months, they throw it out and made a new one. So I thought, no, if I used hardwood here, the dark bits of the hardwood, this thing will last forever. Now it's been going for about 5 years, yeah? Mm-hmm. I think I made it around 2017 or 18, something like that.
Absolutely.
So it's been going for a while, you know, and I bought these and the strings, and that's the only thing that I bought. Everything else, it's all scraps. So trust me when I tell you guys, especially over there in America, there are tens of thousands of people that make soap at home for their business, and they cut it with a knife. So if you start, for those of you that are looking for ideas of what to make one of these and put it up on Marketplace or Etsy. See what happens. If you want more specs, hit me up and I'll be happy to tell you what the dimensions are. Or I might do a series of drawings if you want, separate to this video. You know, I know that some people need to do everything from a drawing or a plan. I'm not one of those, but some people are. No shit on them. It's just we're all different. So if you want that, let me know and I'll be happy to give you all the specs for all this. That I kind of, you know, I just figured, you know, that sounds about right. All right, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you liked it. Tell me what you think.